Hello everybody and welcome back to Tiny House Soap Company. As you can see, we're jumping right back into bullet journaling and we're going to be doing the May setup for the upcoming month. I will go back to finish the Yosemite travel video, so if you guys haven't checked that out, you can go ahead and check out day 1 and day 2. Otherwise, we're going to jump right into May here. So my theme for May is macarons, and it ended up being other sweet things just because there were only so many times that I could doodle macarons. But the primary reason for this is because I've been trying to make macarons myself, and I've done it a few times and haven't come out with the perfect macaron with the perfect little feet and everything about them. And so I wanted to be able to make a perfect macaron, and doodling it is the best way. They have their beautiful feet. You can't tell that they're not hollow inside. And so that's what I decided to do. I did fill in these macarons with my Derwent Graphic fine liner paint pens, and I chose these because I wanted more vibrant colors for this front page. I wanted it to really pop, and that is what the Derwent Graphic fine liner paint pens are great for. They really do a nice job at making everything pop. I was a little bit concerned as I was laying down the ink that there would be some crinkling to the paper, but once it dried, it really does not crinkle any. There is some ghosting on the other side from the paint, but nothing that's just super extreme. I do end up changing over to my Tombow dual brush pens for the rest of it just because I didn't want to have a whole lot of ghosting on the other side where you could just see the colors of the macarons in the other places that I used them. You may have noticed that I also used a paintbrush in some of the parts, and that's just because I found that with a couple of the pens, it seemed like the ink was coming around the nib instead of through the nib, and so that is one of the things that a lot of people have complained about with the Derwent Graphic fine liner pens, is that they go to lay down this small amount of paint and end up getting this big glob of paint. The next page that I'm working on here is my monthly spread, and I went back to a bigger calendar than I did last time, and the primary reason for that is I wanted my doodles to sort of sit around the calendar, and I felt like with the smaller calendar it just took up the whole page and there really wasn't any room to doodle there. So this time I liked the little row of macarons sitting up front. And as I said, I started to get a little bored from doodling those, so I found this little Molong character that I wanted to doodle, and he's holding a little macaron in his hand. And if you guys are wondering the difference between a macaroon and a macaron is actually the little cookies that I'm doodling here, whereas a macaroon is a cookie that has like coconut and stuff in it. So there is a difference, and so I encourage you to look that up if you haven't done that. Also, if you are a baker and you're watching this video and have any tips or tricks for me on how you get your perfect macarons, I would love to hear those down below. And so just leave a little comment, or you can leave a post to your video that you make your macarons on. So one of the things that I've really liked about this May setup is all of the colors that I've gotten to use. So I typically doodle in my bullet journal, but there's a lot of places where I don't end up coloring those in. I still use my Tombow dual brush pens to do like the headers or to outline some stuff in my calendar or on my habit tracker, but I don't really color like I'm actually doing in this video. And so I found that to be a lot of fun and something that I would definitely, if you haven't done that in your bullet journal, I would recommend giving it a try because it's certainly fun. And if you why have all of those colors of the Tombow dual brush pens if you're only going to use them for headers? There's so much more that you could actually do with them. I'm just finishing up my calendar by putting a few more important dates and filling in a few spots with some color, but you may have noticed that at this point I don't have the days of the week on there, and that was actually done intentionally. I always set up my calendar from Sunday to Saturday, so don't feel like you have to put the days of the week or set up a calendar in a particular way. Do it how it works for you, and in this case I didn't want to take up room or take away room from doodling my macarons. The next page that I'm setting up is my habit tracker, and I apologize because my camera does go out for a moment and I did not get the rest of filming of this, but I did it in a similar way as last month, so with just the outline of the calendar. I don't know if I'll continue this because there are times since I don't actually go in and write the numbers of the month down because that would just be too labor intensive for me, that it's kind of hard to figure out which day that I'm on during the month. The next page is my meal planner, and I decided to leave this pretty blank. There's typically quite a bit of writing on this page where I'm writing down the meals that we're having, so I didn't want to have a lot of other distractions going on this page, and so I just left it pretty blank and made the title fairly blank as well. The next page that I'm going to work on is my sleep tracker, and you will see that I totally messed up and really didn't even realize it until I was editing this video that I never put the hours of the night on my sleep tracker page. So I'm gonna have to go back in and correct that. I decided on the left hand side to do some donut doodles, and it did take me 1 or 2 tries of a different Tombow pin before I found the one that I thought looked the most donut color like, and then I just used the other pins to make any blue or pink or chocolate icing on the donuts. I am sticking with the same layout using the colors of the Tombow dual brush pins to correlate with the hours of sleep that I got. I really liked this layout, and it made it really quick and easy whenever I look back to see how much sleep did I get the night before or throughout the whole week. The next page that I'm going to do is my brain dump page, and I ended up calling this my brain freeze page just because I did this kiwi doodle of a ice cream cone. And I decided not to color in this page. I felt like there had been a lot of color in the rest of my bullet journal, and I didn't really want to mess up this doodle because I thought it looked so nice. As I finish this up, I have to say I'm sorry because my to-do page where I did a large doodle of a donut did not get filmed. So now this is the last page of May, and I'm going to go ahead and flip back to the front of April and do a flip through of the whole bullet journal of April all the way through May. This is my cover page and my calendar where I had everything laid out, and that was the smaller layout that I did last time. My habit tracker where I ended up doing the dots rather than the X's. I'd started with the X's and then decided to do the dots, which ended up working a lot better for me in the long run. And then I still track my water by the numbers. My meal plan, which I did the little dots on the side to notify that that was an eat out day, which I would then put on my eat out page. The sleeping log that I have, and this was using that color coding that I had talked about, and I really liked this just because you guys can quickly look at it, or I can quickly look at it and see how many hours I slept per week, and it was just really nice to have that quick look at. And of course the top bar where I did not put the numbers, that's what I'll have to go back and put into the May setup of my sleeping log. The next page is my brain dump page, and the brain dump page is mostly filled with quilt stuff this month. So I've been really into quilting and looking at quilt fabric, and I just had to have somewhere to put it. Then I have my to-do page, which has some stuff about macarons and more quilt stuff on there. And that is my setup for April that I did and how things sort of turned out for me. So now I'll just leave you guys to a flip through of May, and I hope that you enjoyed this. As always, have a wonderful day, and let me know if you have any comments or any questions. I always love to hear from you guys, and don't forget to give me a like and a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel. Thanks.